Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about how to care for mealworms. Mealworms are, in my opinion, so much better than crickets. They're easier, they live longer, they are not as costly, they're all around awesome. And you can buy them from a few companies I'm going to be talking about if I can get my lizards situated. So the first place I'm going to talk about is the place I bought them at. So this is where I bought them from, Flukers, and they all turned out so good. Like, my lizards love them. They were very cheap. I can't exactly remember how much I bought or how much I paid for them. I bought $250, and I'll put on the screen the price after shipping and everything. So I'll put that in there, and I bought some crickets too. I'm going to tell you all my cricket dilemma. So my crickets have all come dead. I've bought crickets 2 times, I bought crickets 3 times online. 1 time from a pet store. And 1 time, the first time, I bought from Predator Foods. Predator Foods, everything was fine. I mean, Predator Foods in California, and we're in Alabama. They came fine, and I was like, okay, that's good. So when those ran out, I bought some again. Those came out dead. They came all dead. There were not even maybe at the most 20 alive, but that didn't last me very long at all. 20 still alive in the package at most. So yeah, that's from Predator Foods, and that's when I found out they were in California. And I was like, well, it's wintertime, maybe I need to buy from a place a little closer. So I bought from Flukers. Flukers came dead also. Flukers is in Louisiana. We're in Alabama again, and it's a lot closer, but I'm not sure. I ordered baby crickets, so I'm thinking maybe the baby crickets don't ship as well as the adults do. Because the first time I ordered crickets online from Predator Foods, I ordered 250 or maybe 100, 200, I think 100 adults, and those turned out fine, perfectly fine. You're about to jump, aren't you? Yes, you are. They came out perfectly fine, and all the rest of the times they came out dead, and I ordered babies all the rest of the times for my little animals. That's why I ordered babies. So I think I'm just gonna have to order adults and maybe just split the crickets in half and just feed them to them with tongs, which would work. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna put them back because they're jumping all like crazy. This is Bucky. Bucky does not want to be held today, so I'm gonna go put them back. Okay, so the lizards are gone, and I ordered from Flukers. I ordered 2 things: crickets, which all arrived dead; mealworms, which turned out awesome. The mealworms were perfectly fine. Predator Foods sells mealworms, roaches, crickets. So I haven't ordered anything else from them because I think they might just be too far away. Now I'm thinking, I was like, well, it's probably just too far away. And my second thought was maybe they just got too cold in the box because when it's like dead winter here. And then I was like, well, maybe, I don't know. And yeah, so it's kind of all a mess. But now I'm thinking it's because the baby crickets just don't ship as well. So if y'all have any advice, if they don't turn off comments, and let me know. I would appreciate it. So I think for now, until it gets springtime and a little bit warmer, I'm going to just order or buy from PetSmart or other pet companies and everything. So, but I will continue ordering mealworms probably if I find out PetSmart don't have any, which I don't think they do. I will continue ordering from Flukers because Flukers is actually a really cheap company, and they're a good company, but their prices for their things are cheap. Their crickets are cheap. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. So let's get into feeding the mealworms. So the mealworms will come in that's why I'm randomly holding this cylinder container, is because this is what the mealworms will come in. This is what my 250 mealworms came in. And it's just a cylinder circle. Yep, and it'll come taped up. If I can put the lid back on. Yeah. Now I wanted to save the containers. I don't know why, I just wanted to save the containers. And this is from the crickets, and this was the mealworms. And they come taped together just like that in the mail. Or that's what mine did. My 500 crickets or my 100 crickets and 250 mealworms, that's how they came. So yours might be different if you buy a little more, like they say 1,000 crickets and maybe 1,000 mealworms. It might come a little bit bigger or something, but you'll just have to see. So it's all what you buy and everything. So let's get into looking at the mealworms first, then we'll get into feeding. Okay, so mealworms are, they turn into the darkling beetle. The darkling beetle is just a black beetle. I'll put a picture in right here somewhere. And that is the darkling beetle, and that's what they will turn into. Now, you know, this is a big one, and this one will be turning into a darkling beetle really, really soon. Come here. They will be turning into a darkling beetle really, really soon. This is one that I would feed to my leopard gecko because of how big it is. Let me find a little smaller one for a baby. You can see it's so tiny. That is one that I'd feed to my gnolls because they are much smaller. So, and they are very hardy. Now, if you wanted them to stop at all causes, if you wanted them to just stop turning into or stop their growing process, their, you know, whatever it's called, their growing process, you know, from the worm to the adult beetle, you can put them in the fridge and then just take out the ones you want in a little cup or something, whatever. If you save the cylinder container they come in, you can take them out and put them in the container, leave them there to warm up for a few hours because you don't want to feed your lizard a very freezing cold mealworm because that will hurt his beautiful little mouth. It will be so cold for him. He'll get a little, would you say he'd get a mouth, what's it called, brain freeze? Do you think he'd get a mouth freeze?
They have brains, so probably.
Maybe he'd get a brain freeze or something?
Probably.
Maybe. So you don't want to feed him just a cold cricket. It wouldn't kill him, but, you know, it wouldn't be delightful for him, you know, out in the wild. Unless it's winter time, which mealworms aren't out in the winter time. They don't like the cold, but that's how you can stop them from transforming into a beetle, the darkling beetle. That is how. You can just put them in the fridge and then pop them out, let them sit on the counter for a few hours to warm up in a warm place. Say you can set them on the counter by your stove if your stove's warm. Not too close to where they'll catch on fire or anything, just warm to where they're in a warm area, or say just in a warm room. Or if it's summertime and you still have them in the fridge, you can take them outside for 30 minutes if it's hot, if it's really hot. Like in Alabama, it is scorching hot, so that's what I'll probably be doing. So now let's talk about these substrates that you're gonna give to your mealworms. I am using shredded, cut up paper towels. I just took a big roll of, I took a paper towel. Let me show you. I got paper towels right here. I took it, this is 3 sections, and I folded them again to where it looks like one. Then I folded it again into like a napkin. And then I folded it again. And then I took it and I rolled it up in a little ball, or I don't know what you call it, into this right here.
Twist?
A twist, yeah, a twist, like a roll. And then I just cut little things off and it made beautiful substrate for them. Now, you also, if you want to go a little more expensive route, well, it really depends. If you eat organic like we do, we try to eat organic at all times. We buy organic rolled oats from Whole Foods. Organic oats. You can put oats about, I don't know, just some oats, probably 2, 3, maybe 4 inches if you want, in the container that you're keeping them. I'm keeping in just a Sterilite pull-out bin where you put it in there and then you just pull it out because it makes it really convenient just to pull it out and everything, so that works. You can put it in there, but I don't want to use our good baking oatmeal oats. So that's why I'm not using oats, but paper towels will work just fine. Now you can add a little bit of oats in there, but then you'd have to have a potato and oats because they get most of their food from potatoes. They get their food from the potatoes and then their moisture from the potatoes. We'll talk about moisture in a second. So you can do that and just, this will make a good, they'll munch on this, but their primary diet is the potato that you're supposed to put in there. My nose is itching. Okay. Okay, so I have a knife here. It's dangerous. You want to just take a regular white mashed potato, a potato that you make mashed potatoes out of, and you just want to cut it in half. Just cut it in half. And you will want to take this and put it in there. You want to replace it every 2 to 3 days, or until they've eaten it to the core. And if you have a lot, like 1,000, you might want to put 2 or 3 potatoes in there. You don't want to overcrowd your mealworms. Even if they're feeders, you don't want to treat any insect or animal bad. You don't want to treat it bad. So you don't want them to be piled up on there, not getting enough food, starving themselves to death. And if you starve them, then they'll all die, and that'll be a waste of money. Now, typically, I would not be buying from a pet store like Petco, PetSmart, and my crickets from them because they're a lot more expensive in store than online. But online, when they're dying just like they are, it's a lot cheaper to actually buy them from PetSmart or Petco, I guess. So it's a lot cheaper right now because I'm just ordering them and they're just dying. So I don't know why. I've asked a lot of reptile keepers. They say it might be the temperature. Like professional reptile keepers that have been doing reptiles a lot longer than I have.
Adults.
A lot longer than I have. So I've asked them, and they say it could be the temperatures outside, you know, like the weather, or it could also be, who knows? It could be everything, or it could be anything, you know, who knows? So it's been cheaper right now to just buy them from a pet store. So that's what I'm doing until springtime, where it's a little bit warmer, but not too hot to where they'll suffocate in a box. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, now you can also feed them bran, like I guess a raisin oat bran, just take the raisins out. I've heard people say it just said bran, so I'm guessing it's like raisin oat bran. Probably, I'm not sure. I'll put it on the screen just to make sure. I don't want y'all to feed your mealworm something that'll hurt them, but I'm pretty sure it's like raisin oat bran or something. I don't know, oat bran. But you want to feed them like oats. I have some oats sprinkled throughout here. And you also want to have an egg carton. Egg cartons do not provide food. They just provide a good hiding space. Look at all the nooks and crannies in this egg carton. That is heaven for a cricket, mealworm, roach, you know, whatever. So I always add that in there. Add that in there. And that is good. So let's see, now we're going to talk about water. They get, again, most of their water from the potatoes that they eat. So, yeah, that's where they get their potatoes from, or that's where they get their water and their moisture from. If you want to play it safe, I don't feel this is necessary. You can sprinkle water in there with a spray bottle, mist it, just to make sure they're getting water, enough water. But I don't feel this is necessary because they get a lot of the water from their potatoes. Mealworms are considered a pest for a lot of gardeners because they eat their potatoes and their root vegetables. They'll also eat carrots, you know, all kinds of stuff. They'll eat root vegetables, basically. I'm not sure if they'll eat, like, radishes and beets because those are root vegetables, too, but radishes and beets, because those are a little spicy for them, they might, but primarily they eat carrots and potatoes, and that's where they get a lot of their moisture from, and they're considered big-time pests for a lot of farmers because they're eating all their potatoes and everything. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Anything else? Now let's talk about how often you should feed, and if this is a good, just primarily all-in-one bug that you should feed them. Now, one thing I've noticed is that the the mealworms are staying alive so much longer than the crickets are. Mealworms are my favorite feeder probably to feed because of just how they're filling for the reptile. It's not like crickets are very filling too, but crickets are more expensive than mealworms. Mealworms are, they stay alive longer. I don't know what it is about crickets. Crickets just are not my thing. They're not good. They smell bad. Crickets do. It don't make a room stink, but when you open the container and all the air comes out at you, it just smells really bad. Mealworms literally have no smell. Like, it has no smell. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you are like my mom is very sensitive to smells. Say we have a lizard in the house and it poops. And say I just forget to clean it up or something, and she walks into a room and she's like, what is that awful smell? And she starts investigating the whole room and she can find it really fast. So you just gotta be mindful that crickets do smell bad, but they don't smell up a room. They can just open it, you open the cricket bin or lid, and then you smell it, and then it kind of goes away after a while. Or if you want, you can put it outside to let it refreshen.
Especially if there's dead crickets.
Especially if there is dead crickets. Dead crickets do smell bad. Mealworms, I'm not sure. I don't have many dead mealworms because of how strong and hardy they are. And they do poop more though. They do poop a lot more than crickets. I've found, but you know, it's little bitty poop. It's like dirt. It's literally like dirt. You can't even see it basically. So yeah, and they're a lot more cleaner than crickets. Overall, I like mealworms a lot better than crickets. And can you feed this for a solitary diet? Now, like goats, you can't feed them. Well, you can't feed goats just pellets, and sheep just primary pellets. Their whole diet. It's not healthy for them. They have to have grass, fresh grass. They gotta have hay, and they gotta have vegetation. And that's the same with reptiles. They need variety. That's why I wouldn't feel comfortable just feeding mealworms for a solitary diet. Now, even fish, my two betta fish over there. Well, one's my sister's, but my betta fish over there. I give them variety. They don't need variety, but I do give them some just to make them happy. Sometimes I feed them my dead mealworms. I cut up real small, the dead ones, and then I just sprinkle it in there. Sometimes I'll feed the dead ones to my chickens too. The chickens.
Just back him up.
Yeah, I'll back them up. Yeah. I feed it to the chickens. Yeah, so mealworms can be a food for a lot of animals. When you go on Tractor Supply, you'll see a bag of dead mealworms. So I'm pretty sure that is all of this video. Basically, mealworms make a lot better pets. Do your research. You can buy them from Rainbow Mealworms. I've never bought from that company, so I can't really say if they're good, but I've read reviews that they're awesome. A lot of more professional reptile keepers use them. They say they're awesome, so you'll have to check out Rainbow Mealworms. If you're looking for dubia roaches, you can go to the Dubia Dude. People use that all the time.
I don't think they're really rainbow colored though.
They're not, the mealworms aren't rainbows. I don't know why it's called rainbow mealworms, but they're normal mealworms. They aren't rainbow colored. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all on the next adventure.